We've all met that one person who walks into a room and somehow, without saying much, everyone notices them. They have a quiet confidence, a calm energy, and this unexplainable magnetism that draws people in. The good news? That kind of presence isn't luck or magic. It's built through tiny intentional habits that anyone can learn. Today, we're diving into 5 tiny habits that make you instantly magnetic. Eye contact that connects, not stares, is one of the most powerful and subtle habits that instantly make a person magnetic. It's not about forcing a gaze or trying to dominate a conversation through your eyes. It's about learning how to see and be seen in a way that feels genuine, warm, and grounded. When you hold eye contact with someone, you are silently communicating that you're present, you're engaged, and you're not distracted by the noise around you. People crave that kind of presence because it's rare. In a world where everyone is constantly looking down at their phones, real eye contact has become a lost art. Yet, it's one of the fastest ways to build connection, trust, and influence without saying a single word. The goal isn't to stare so long that it feels intense or uncomfortable, but to hold just enough so the other person feels acknowledged and respected. It's about giving your full attention without needing to prove anything. When you listen with your eyes, not just your ears, the person speaking feels like they matter. And that's the essence of magnetism, making others feel significant in your presence. When someone speaks and you meet their gaze with a calm, open expression, you signal that you are emotionally available and confident within yourself. You're not looking away nervously or glancing around the room, searching for something better to focus on. You're grounded, still, and intentional. That subtle steadiness communicates power. People subconsciously interpret steady eye contact as a sign of self-assurance and strength. But there's a balance to it. Holding eye contact for too long can come off as dominance, while avoiding it completely communicates insecurity or disinterest. The key is rhythm. Look at them when they're talking, briefly glance away when thinking, then return to their eyes naturally. It should feel like a conversation, not a challenge. The more relaxed your body language is, the more natural your eye contact becomes. When you pair calm breathing with soft, steady eye contact, you create emotional gravity. It draws people toward you because it feels peaceful. They can sense you're not anxious, not pretending, and not trying too hard to control how you're perceived. This composure builds quiet respect. Even if you're not the most talkative or expressive person, maintaining gentle, confident eye contact makes you memorable. People start to associate you with stability and trust. And in social dynamics, that's magnetic energy. It's the kind of presence that doesn't demand attention, but effortlessly commands it. In professional settings, this habit elevates your communication. When you look someone in the eye while speaking, it anchors your message. Your words carry more weight because people can see your conviction behind them. In personal relationships, it deepens emotional connection. Partners, friends, and even strangers feel safer and more open around someone who holds eye contact with empathy rather than judgment. It communicates that you're not there to compete or impress, but to connect. This balance of confidence and warmth is what sets truly magnetic people apart from those who just appear confident on the surface. Developing this habit requires awareness. It's not about practicing in front of a mirror or forcing yourself to stare longer. It's about mindfulness. Be fully present in your conversations. Notice how often you break eye contact out of discomfort or habit. Train yourself to stay still in those moments instead of retreating. When your mind starts racing with thoughts about how you're coming across, bring your focus back to the person in front of you. The simple act of grounding yourself through your eyes can transform how people perceive you. Over time, it becomes second nature. You'll find that people lean in more when you speak, they mirror your energy, and they feel drawn to your calmness. That's when you realize eye contact isn't just visual, it's emotional. It's a form of silent communication that says, I see you, I'm here, and I'm not in a rush to leave. A calm, grounded tone when speaking is one of those small but deeply impactful habits that separate people who demand attention from those who naturally attract it. The way you use your voice carries more influence than the words themselves. A calm tone communicates confidence, composure, and emotional control, while a rushed or tense tone gives off insecurity and anxiety. When you speak slowly and deliberately, it gives your words space to breathe, and it gives people time to absorb what you're saying. It shows that you are not trying to rush through life or through conversations, that you're settled within yourself. That kind of steadiness is magnetic because it makes others feel safe and comfortable around you. People are drawn to those who make them feel at ease, and the tone of your voice is one of the strongest ways to do that. It doesn't matter how loud or quiet you are. What matters is the energy behind your voice. When your tone is grounded, it sends a message of confidence without aggression and of authority without arrogance. Speaking calmly doesn't mean speaking without emotion. It means you have emotional discipline. You can express yourself without letting your emotions hijack your communication. When someone criticizes you or challenges your opinion, a calm tone shows that you're not easily shaken. It proves that you don't need to match their energy or lose control to make your point. That quiet control draws respect. People listen to those who can stay centered under pressure because it reflects strength and maturity. When your tone stays even and your words remain measured, you subtly influence the emotional temperature of the room. Instead of reacting to chaos, you regulate it. That's what magnetic people do. They don't absorb the tension around them, they neutralize it. In conversations, tone also creates trust. When you speak gently but with clarity, others are more likely to open up. It's not just about what you say, it's how you say it. If your tone is too sharp, people instinctively guard themselves. But when it's calm and sincere, they let their walls down. It's human nature to mirror what we feel. If you radiate peace, others begin to feel peaceful too. That's why some people can walk into a room and instantly shift the atmosphere. Their calmness communicates safety. Their voice becomes a steady rhythm that others unconsciously follow. It's not manipulation, it's leadership through energy and awareness. When you speak in a grounded tone, you also project self-respect. You're not rushing to fill silence. You're not forcing laughter to keep others entertained. And you're not over-explaining to earn approval. You're secure enough to let your words land and your pauses linger. Silence doesn't intimidate you because you understand that confidence doesn't live in volume. It lives in control. The most magnetic people understand the power of tone because they know it's not about talking more. It's about speaking with purpose. Whether in an argument, a presentation, or a simple conversation, the calmness in your tone acts like a mirror for how deeply you trust yourself. Developing this kind of tone takes awareness and consistency. You have to train yourself to breathe before you speak, to slow down when your mind races, and to keep your voice steady even when your emotions rise. Notice how often you speak quickly out of nervousness or try to fill every gap in conversation. Practice pausing. Let stillness become part of your communication. When you talk from a centered place, people feel it. They feel your energy before they process your words. A calm tone doesn't shout for attention. It earns it. It creates a rhythm of respect and presence that lingers long after you stop speaking. Over time, people begin to associate your voice with steadiness and reassurance. And in a world that often feels chaotic and loud, that kind of energy becomes magnetic on its own. Subtle confidence in body language is one of those silent forces that speaks louder than any introduction ever could. It's the way you enter a room, the way you carry yourself when you sit down, the way your shoulders rest when you're listening. People pick up on it before you even open your mouth. True confidence isn't loud or exaggerated, it's quiet and self-assured. It doesn't try to prove anything because it already knows its worth. When your body language reflects calm confidence, people notice you without you having to demand attention. You instantly give off the energy of someone who is comfortable in their own skin. You're not shrinking yourself to fit in, and you're not overextending to be noticed. You're just grounded, and that groundedness pulls people in. The smallest physical cues make the biggest impact. Standing tall with your shoulders relaxed and your posture open signals self-respect. Keeping your movements slow and intentional instead of fidgeting or rushing shows control. Maintaining an easy smile or a calm expression communicates that you're approachable yet confident. These details create an invisible language that tells people you trust yourself, and that energy is magnetic. People instinctively want to be around someone who radiates certainty and ease. It's not about posing or trying to appear perfect. In fact, subtle confidence has nothing to do with perfection. It's about presence. When you're fully present in your body, when you're not thinking about how you look or whether people like you, your natural magnetism comes through effortlessly. Body language reveals what words can't hide. You can say all the right things, but if your arms are crossed, your movements are tense, and your eyes dart around nervously, people will sense the disconnect. Confidence isn't about trying to hide nerves, it's about accepting them and still standing tall. When you own your space without apology, you send a signal that you belong wherever you are. The most magnetic people don't rush to fill every silence, they don't compete to dominate a room, and they don't shrink to avoid attention. They let their stillness speak. Their posture and presence say, I am here and I am enough. That's what makes people want to listen, follow, and remember them. Subtle confidence also shows up in how you use your gestures. Confident people move with purpose. Their gestures are fluid, not frantic. They don't overuse their hands to prove a point or lean in too aggressively when they talk. They know that stillness can be powerful. When your movements match the calmness of your tone and the steadiness of your eye contact, you create harmony in your presence. It becomes hard for others to look away because everything about you communicates balance. Even something as simple as walking with your head slightly raised and your steps measured can shift how people perceive you. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. It's knowing how to carry yourself like someone who respects their own energy. To build this subtle confidence, you don't need to fake it. You train your body to relax in moments of pressure. You practice grounding yourself when your heart starts racing. You take deep breaths before you speak. You uncross your arms, lift your head, and remind yourself that you don't have to prove your worth to anyone. The more you do it, the more your body starts to believe it. Over time, it becomes natural. People will notice how calm you look when others are tense, how still you stay when everyone else fidgets, how you move with ease instead of urgency. That's the difference between someone who wants attention and someone who naturally commands it. Subtle confidence in body language tells the world you're secure, not because of what you have or what you say, but because of who you are. When you embody that level of calm assurance, you don't chase approval. You attract respect without even trying. Genuine curiosity about others is one of the most magnetic traits a person can have because it shifts the focus away from trying to impress and places it on trying to understand. People are drawn to those who make them feel seen and valued, and when your curiosity is real, they can feel it immediately. It's not about asking questions just to keep the conversation going. It's about asking because you truly want to know. You want to understand how they think, what they've been through, and what matters to them. When you listen with that kind of sincerity, people sense it. They feel heard in a way that goes beyond words. That emotional connection creates instant chemistry, whether it's in friendships, relationships, or professional settings. Being genuinely curious allows you to step outside your own perspective and enter someone else's world, and that makes you memorable. Magnetic people have this effortless ability to make others feel important because they aren't consumed with self-promotion. They listen with their full attention. Their eyes stay focused, their body language leans in slightly, and their expressions show that they care. They don't interrupt or rush the conversation. They don't think ahead to what they're going to say next. They let the other person speak fully, and when they respond, it's thoughtful. That level of presence is powerful. In a world where most people listen just to reply, being someone who listens to understand feels rare and refreshing. When people talk to you and feel that your curiosity isn't performative, they begin to trust you. They open up, and that openness deepens connection. Genuine curiosity also reveals emotional intelligence. It shows that you can hold space for someone else's story without making it about yourself. You don't need to compete, correct, or compare. You simply let them be who they are, and in doing so, you communicate acceptance. That's what makes people drawn to you. They don't feel judged, they feel understood. You create an environment where vulnerability feels safe, and that's magnetic because people crave emotional safety more than approval. The more you practice curiosity, the more you realize it's not about getting information, it's about building relationships. Each question becomes an opportunity to connect, and each answer becomes a thread that weaves you closer to another person's truth. When you're curious, you stop trying to be interesting and start being interested, and ironically, that's what makes you fascinating. People remember how you made them feel when they were talking to you, how you seemed genuinely engaged, how you didn't look at your phone or glance away when they were speaking. It's those small signals that tell them you value their presence. Curiosity has a quiet confidence to it. It doesn't need to dominate the conversation because it already knows that influence comes from understanding. When you ask someone about their experiences, their challenges, or their passions, and you listen with empathy, they start associating you with comfort and connection. That's the essence of magnetic presence, making someone feel lighter after spending time with you. To develop this habit, you have to let go of the urge to impress. You have to stop rehearsing responses and start listening for meaning. Ask questions that go beyond surface-level small talk. Instead of "How was your day?" ask what made your day good or difficult. Instead of "What do you do?" ask what you enjoy about what you do. These questions invite authenticity. They open doors to real connection. And when you stay curious without trying to control where the conversation goes, you allow genuine connection to happen naturally. The truth is, people are drawn to curiosity because it feels like attention in its purest form. It tells them that their story matters. It tells them they're not invisible. And when you consistently bring that energy into your interactions, you develop a quiet magnetism that doesn't fade when the conversation ends. People leave your presence feeling valued, and that feeling becomes your signature. Emotional control under pressure is one of the most defining traits of magnetic people because it shows strength, maturity, and self-awareness. It's easy to appear composed when everything is going well, but real confidence reveals itself in how you handle moments of stress, confrontation, or uncertainty. When you can stay calm while everyone else reacts, you become the anchor in the storm. People instinctively gravitate toward those who don't lose themselves in chaos. Emotional control isn't about suppressing feelings or pretending not to care. It's about mastering your response. It's understanding that you can't control everything that happens, but you can control the energy you bring to it. That quiet steadiness sends a powerful message that you trust yourself no matter what's happening around you. It's one of the most magnetic energies you can carry because it communicates safety and authority at the same time. When someone reacts emotionally, they give away their power. But when you pause, breathe, and respond intentionally, you reclaim it. That small pause before you speak or act separates emotional maturity from impulsiveness. It shows you're not ruled by your environment, you're led by awareness. People notice that difference even if they can't explain it. They feel it in the tone of your voice, the stillness in your body, the way you choose your words carefully instead of letting anger or frustration speak for you. That restraint isn't weakness, it's composure, it's self-respect in motion. When you stay composed under pressure, you communicate that you don't need to control others to maintain control of yourself. That makes you magnetic because it's rare. Most people mirror the chaos around them, but those who can stay grounded become the ones others look to for direction and calm. Emotional control also builds trust. In both personal and professional settings, people feel safer around someone who doesn't overreact. They know that even in conflict, you'll handle things with thought and respect. This trust amplifies your influence because people follow calm energy more easily than reactive energy. They feel like you have clarity when things get messy, and that's a trait that stands out. The calm person in a room full of tension automatically becomes the leader, not because they demand it, but because they embody it. And that's the heart of magnetism, leading through presence, not force. Your ability to regulate your emotions gives others permission to regulate theirs. It changes the tone of conversations, resolves conflicts faster, and builds emotional stability in your relationships. Developing emotional control doesn't mean you ignore your feelings. It means you acknowledge them without letting them run the show. It's the difference between reacting to your emotions and responding with awareness. You learn to observe your feelings as they rise, anger, fear, frustration, and instead of immediately acting on them, you take a step back, you breathe, you choose your next move carefully. That moment of stillness is where emotional strength grows. Over time, your mind learns that calmness is power. You stop letting other people's moods dictate yours. You stop needing to prove yourself in every disagreement. You start valuing peace more than being right. That shift changes how people experience you because your energy becomes stable, and stability is deeply attractive. When you have emotional control, people listen differently when you speak. They trust your words more because they come from clarity, not reaction. Even your silence carries weight because it's intentional, not avoidance. Your calm energy sets a tone that others subconsciously mirror. You can diffuse tension just by staying centered. You can change outcomes simply by refusing to escalate. That's what makes emotional control magnetic. It gives you quiet power. It's not about dominance, it's about influence. When others lose their balance, you stay still. When they panic, you stay composed. When they get louder, you get calmer. That contrast makes people remember you. It earns you respect without having to demand it. Over time, you become known as someone who brings peace instead of drama, clarity instead of confusion, and strength instead of chaos. That kind of control doesn't just make you magnetic, it makes you unforgettable.